Hello, America, and welcome back to another episode of To Hear Me Tell It, the life and times of Jerry Daniels. When you've had your daily dose of today's craziness, dealing with all them Karens out there, ride shotgun with old JD as he goes back and recounts the life and times of growing up in the South during the 60s and 70s. I believe we were called baby boomers. Stories that you will say, yep, I done that, but I ain't gonna tell my kids. And I ain't never told my spouse. But whatever the truth be, it will be this, to hear me tell it. Well, hello, folks, and welcome to another episode of To Hear Me Tell It. I don't know what I'm going to be telling today, but I'm going to tell something. Got to look over here and make sure everything's working right. Okay, it's working right. So now I can look over here at the camera. Okay, now I got my foot. Oh, great. My foot's caught in the damn cord of my mic. Let me see if I can get it out. There we go. The trials and tribulations of amateurs. Okay. Hey, want to start by saying thanks to all those who listen. I appreciate it. I'm not going to say the number anymore because I know y'all are tired of hearing it. But those who do listen, thank you. I got the tickle in the throat this morning, even though I've done things to make sure I don't have it, but I got it. So it is what it is. Maybe it's because I was outside burning. I think I spent a nighttime. Well, I was going to talk about it here because it's on my list. But anyway, I was around a fire pit. And we was burning. We had the fire pit going the other night, and I thought, I'll burn off this old firewood that ain't worth anything. And I burned that. And I had some wood that I left over from when I poured that pad at the shed. That old wood. I thought, I'll burn some of that too. So it's just laying around. I can get rid of it. So I did. All right. So give a shout out to a couple of folks. Joe Sticka being one. Joe's a good man. I like Joe. He's smart. He's intelligent. He's patriotic. Technically competent. And I like him. I like him a lot. And he's a conservative, a Christian conservative. So shout out to Joe. Good morning, Joe. Sorry I'm late, but he gives me ideas, which I take, and he gives me feedback, which I like, and it's constructive, which I need. So thank you. Mike Posey is still recovering. Told me he got out and was doing a walk, but it's something to do with it was raining and it didn't go well or something like that. And then Mike Posey went on to tell me, he goes, this late in the season, they still got it was two things. One of them was gnats, and I forget what the other one was, gnats and something else. Maybe it was mosquitoes or ants or something. I don't know, but I'm like, damn. That's the reason when Laura and I moved back to America, that is not the one, but it is one of the reasons, not the number one reason. But one of the reasons we didn't move down to south of Atlanta, especially in middle Georgia, is some damn gnats. I grew up with them damn things. I grew up with gnats. I hate gnats. I can't stand being outside trying to eat with gnats. I can't stand being outside going and gnats. Can't stand them. So we didn't live down there on account of the gnats. But Mike Posey was sharing me, but they still got gnats in November in Taylor County. So the chickens are doing well. I'm impressed. Now, I've been doing a lot of reading about the molting. Now, my girls haven't showed any sign of molting. I'm preparing myself mentally that my chickens are going to molt, and then they're going to lose an assload of feathers. I'm not really sure what I can do about it, but I hope they don't molt when it's cold. That don't make sense. If you molt, I mean, they're creatures of God. Surely they won't lose all their feathers when it's going to get cold, and it's going to get cold. Looking at my weather app here, up here in wonderful Pickens County, but the weather app says we're going to be down Monday and Tuesday. We're going to be down in the 20s at night, and they're saying that the high Monday going to be 39. That's a little nippy. So, and here we are on the what is the day? Day's the 7th. It's Friday, the 7th of November. It was the 3rd of December. That's another song, but that was December. 3rd of December. Yeah. So anyway, it's 7 November. Got Veterans Day coming up on November the 11th. Go and do a shout out. I may do something afterwards but I want to do a shout out to all the veterans. Thank you for your service. Thank you for your service. Now, I'm going to clarify something, and it's probably going to piss some people off. That's okay. And I know I've talked about this before, but there are Americans who can legally, I'm not sure if legally is the right word. I'm not sure. I don't care. But they can say, hey, I'm a veteran. Well, I've known veterans who served in the military 48 hours. And it was immediately, obviously, they lied, or they were immediately recognizable. They ain't fit for this, and they got booted. And you know what? I know one personally. And she's like, I'm a veteran. I'm like, you didn't even graduate boot camp. But she goes, I'm a veteran. And you can bet your ass she gets those veteran benefits, buddy. So for those veterans who served with honor, courage, and commitment, those veterans who served their country patriotically, thank you for your service. I appreciate you. Doesn't matter whether you did 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 1 year, because there's some veterans that I got a buddy named Billy. I'm just going to leave it at that. And I'll say his name because he's Billy St. Lawrence. Billy St. Lawrence, I don't even remember where Billy was from. He's funny as shit. He's a big feller too. But he was an ordnanceman, so we're known to beat our bodies up and abuse it to no end. But as a young man, he tore his back to pieces, and he was medically discharged. So I don't think Billy did 3 years. But it doesn't matter. He served with honor, and he got hurt. He got hurt bad. He messed his back up real bad. So thanks to all the veterans in advance, because we got Veterans Day coming up on the 11th. So Veterans Day is to honor veterans. Veterans, those who served. It is not Memorial Day, and it is not Armed Forces Day. It is Veterans Day. Y'all don't forget that. It's Veterans Day. So, all right, back to the chickens. I'm sorry, y'all. The chickens are doing well. Got 11 eggs yesterday, got 10 the day before, and they love in the fall weather. Let them out. They get to get out and scratch and peck and whatnot. And I'm learning a lot, still learning a lot. I'm going to have to, I guess Home Depot sells that stuff, but I need to buy some. I need to insulate the chicken coop in the roof, because it's just a tin roof and there's no insulation. I've got one of those remote thermometers that tells me what the temperature is inside the coop, and then it tells me what the temperature is outside the coop. And without any kind of insulation whatsoever, there's only a 4 degrees difference. So I want to try to keep them warmer, because they lay better eggs when they're warmer. So more to follow, I guess. I talked about the fire pit. Laura and I say Laura and I. Let me back up. Laura and I sat around the fire pit. Jerry's the one who does all the work. So, but we had a nice evening the other night. I forget what night it was. It was one night this week. And we may do it again tonight. But we got the fire pit going, and we have a screened-in back porch. And that's obviously our place to be when the damn bugs are out. Because where we live on a road called Hidden Creek. Well, the creek is definitely hidden, but it's a lot of stagnant pools, which means we got skeeters at the ass. So we have to resort to the back porch that's screened in to get the mosquitoes off of us. So we sit around the fire pit outside when we can not be bothered by damn bugs. So I hate mosquitoes. I'm sure God made them for a reason, but I hate mosquitoes. I know the bats eat them. I know other things eat them. I'm sure tadpoles and frogs probably eat them or something. I don't know, but mosquitoes are a damn blood-sucking parasite, like a flea and a tick, a leech, or a Democrat. I knew I'd go throw that in there. So, but we had a good time. Probably going to do it again tonight. And when we sit at our fire pit in this time of the year, the sun sets in such a position that just as it breaks and getting right on top of the mountain ridge to our left, to our west, the sun shines through the trees. And I think it was Teresa Kamak made a mention of this, but the sun shines, almost horizontally through the trees. And the fact that some of the leaves have already fallen And then on the right hand side of our little, I guess our view, is the beautiful bright red and yellow fall leaves, and the sun's hitting them, and they just like explode with vibrant colors. It's kind of cool. It's very short lived. We only see it just for maybe a week, and then it's gone. We gotta look forward to it the next year. And I do have a topic. I'm getting to it. I'm in the market for we're in the market to replace Laura's car. Now, Laura's got a 2010 Toyota Venza. Great car. But and it's a 2010. We bought it used with very low miles on it, and it's still got very low miles on it. But we take care of our stuff, so we have a history. I got a spreadsheet. So we have all the maintenance records of everything that's ever been done to this car. And when it comes to time to do anything to this car, I mean, it's a Toyota. You ain't got to do a lot other than preventive maintenance. I have all those records, all the receipts, and we do it all at the Cherokee County Toyota place. So it's a 2010 Toyota Venza, and we're going to sell it. It's black. It's got tan interior. We took it to Best Buy and had the whole radio thing, majigger, taken out, and bought a Kenwood, I think it was, and had it installed so it has Apple Play and it's got a backup camera and all that kind of stuff. We upgraded it. So it's got all that. But I want to get Laura a RAV4, a newer model, like a 2021, 2021 RAV4, not a hybrid, just a RAV4. And I test drove one yesterday, and I went and got Laura and then brought her back and let her look at it. It's at a dealership, and I'm not it's a double-edged sword when you buy from a dealership. You're buying it from a middle person, so and these young car salesmen, they're kind of funny, and I think about Daddy a lot when I go look at automobiles, because Daddy was brutal to him. I just be honest. Daddy was brutal to us. I'm kind of like Bob Daniels, but I'm a little bit more reserved and I'll just leave it at reserved. But I get out and I meet the guy. Hey, how you doing? Blah, 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 blah. What you in the market for? And I hate it when they say, what kind of budget you got? I said, my budget ain't none of your damn business. Now, that's when Bob Daniels comes out in me. What kind of budget you got? It ain't none of your damn business what kind of budget I got. How much you looking to spend? That ain't none of your damn business. It's none of your business. I'm here to see if you got something I want. And if you do, let's talk about it. And I say it just like that. I'm here because I saw an ad, and this is how it started. I said, hey, buddy, how you doing? He said, blah, blah, blah. He introduced himself, blah, 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 blah. I said, I'm straight up with you. I've bought a few cars in my life. I said, as a matter of fact, I'm going to tell you, I have bought, sold, and traded more cars than you have years in life. And that's true. I said, so I saw an ad that you've got a 2021. I don't beat around the bush. I said, I saw an ad. You got 2021 Toyota RAV4. I want to see it. Oh, okay. You're in the market for a Toyota. I said, I just told you. You got a 2021 Toyota RAV4. I'd like to see it. So he goes, gets the keys, and we start walking out to the lot. I said, you got any history on this car? Well, and he pulls out his cell phone. He's looking up something. I said, do you personally have any history on this car? Well, no, sir. I said, okay, so you're going to read to me what somebody's already given you. He goes, yes, sir. I said, okay, go ahead and read it. He's like, yeah, we got it about a month ago. We've already taken it through the service, and we did a front-end alignment, and we checked the brakes, and we did this. We changed the air filter, the cabin filter, changed the oil, checked the fluids, yada, 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 yada. And it's all good. I said, okay. Good. Got a clean Carfax? Yes, sir. I said, okay, I'm going to need to see that. And I need you to print it out for me. I want to hold it. I don't want to look at something on the phone. Yes, sir. Okay. All right. So he goes and gets it, and he's got a cup of coffee. And then we get out there to the lot where you need to get in the car. And this car lot has so many damn cars. It's almost impossible to get between them. So I said, and I'm a nice guy. So why don't you give me your coffee cup and I'll hold it for you? He said, well, thank you. So I held his coffee cup. He got in there and he pulled it out. And he pulls it out in kind of a way, and which was smart. He got it out before I could open all the doors. He leaves it running, and we check out the inside, the outside. It's got a little scuff mark here and there. And he goes, yeah, the Carfax says it's got a minor ding damage that needed to be repaired on the front. So I inspect the front really good. I know how to look for things like has a radiator been replaced? Has the air conditioning condenser been replaced? Is a transmission cooler up there? Has it been replaced? I know how to look for that stuff. I do. and I'm going through it over fine tooth comb, and he's kind of taken back because I'm the kind of guy that I drop, lay on my back, and get up under the front end. I'm looking. So I check it out, top to bottom, and I said, okay, let's drive it. So we go out for a test drive, and it drove fine. There's no, I didn't feel anything. It was aligned good. The brakes didn't squeal. They brakes worked good. It shifted good. I didn't hear anything. When I turned on the air conditioning, it sounded like maybe some leaves had fallen down into the fan or something. I wasn't sure about that, but it went away real quick. So I thought, well, if it was a leaf, it just chewed a leaf up and ate it. But it's got a filter in there, so maybe the filter caught it. I don't know. But so we go over all that, and it's listed for $19,000. You know how it is, $19,999,000. And he keeps saying, well, hey, it's priced right, man. It's priced right for $19,999. I said, let's stop saying $19,999. Let's just say it's $20K. You want $20,000 for this car, and it's a limited. It's not an LE. It's not an XLE. It's a limited. The inside's real clean. It is, but it's only a 4-year-old car. Now, in January, it will be a 5-year-old car because it was manufactured in January of 2021. So you're 22, 23, 24, 25, 26. 26, that car will be 5 years old. So if I did the math, because I'm gonna just go ahead and I'm gonna round it up and say, okay, so that car's got 130,000 miles on it. And if you divide that by 5, obviously, that car was driven 26,000 plus miles a year because it's got more than 130,000. But it was driven 26,000 plus miles a year, and that's a lot of miles on a car. But interior doesn't show that. And the left side of the driver's seat, all jacked up and crumbled, which is notorious for cars that sit low to the ground. Or any of them, unless you got somewhere to step out. That's the part of the seat that gives when somebody rolls and slides out the side to the left. So, but it didn't show that. And I thought, that's a lot of miles. Was this a company car? Was it somebody driving? He's like, no, it was one owner. And he had the Carfax, and I saw it later, so I read it in great detail. Sure enough, it had one owner, but it looked like it was purchased in Florence, South Carolina, and then it was serviced twice at a Toyota dealer in Florence, South Carolina. But that was it. And then it showed that little minor maintenance thing, and then it showed when it was renewed registration. And I called the dealership after I left the lot. I called the dealership. I said, tell me about this car. So they said, yeah, it was bought here and it was serviced twice. I said, well, when's the last time you changed oil in it? And they said, it was 2 years ago. And I said, oh. So then I have to assume that whoever owned this car did change the oil, but maybe like at a Jiffy Lube or some shit. Or maybe they did it themselves. I mean, if somebody bought my truck and they did a Carfax and they got it, they would see some sporadics and like, well, damn, man, you just stopped changing oil. Then I hand them my spreadsheet, which I keep. I go, no, you can see I changed my own damn oil. and here's the record. So they have to trust it, I guess. But bottom line is, I guess here's the point of the story. I test drove it, worked good. And then, we're walking back inside. I've taken a picture and sent it to Laura, so she's seen it. She wants a red one with a tan interior. I want a good deal, a good buy. And the rest of that shit's lipstick on a pig. I just want to buy a good, healthy pig. So we're walking back inside, and he says, how would you be, can I ask you something, Mr. Daniels? I said, sure, buddy. He said, how would you be paying for this? I said, if I buy it, he goes, yeah. I said, I'm going to pay cash. He said, well, I'm going to have to be right up front with you. It's $1,000 more if you pay cash. Now, y'all are listening to this on podcast. You can't see my face. And I kind of reached out and I we were walking, so I paused him. I said, "What'd you say?" He said, "Well, if you pay cash, it's $1,000 more." I said, "That's ludicrous. I've never heard of that in my life." He said, "Well, that's the way they do it." I said, "That ain't the way I do it." I said, "Cash is king." He said, "Well, the price you see," he did that in 1999. I stopped him. I said, "20K." He said, "That's if you finance it." I said, "I don't need to finance it." He goes, "Well, it helps your credit score." I said, "I don't need no damn help with my credit score. 850 is the best you can get. 850 I got. I don't need help with a credit score. You're not talking to some young 20-year-old. I said, "I don't need to finance shit. Why would I finance something when I've worked my ass off to save money to buy something?" He's like, "Well, that's the way it is." I said, "Well, everything's negotiable. Everything is negotiable." So we go inside, and that's where he prints the Carfax out, and I get it, and I go out in the parking lot, and I call, blah, 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 blah. And then I go get Laura. I bring her back. She looks at it. She likes it. We walk in the guy's office. We sit down. We start talking. And I said, "Well, you said earlier you could print out a tax title, a registration, all that shit. What's the out-the-door price?" Well, the outdoor price came up to like $22,500. And I read that doc fee of almost $900. I said, "I'm not paying that." The Bob Daniels came out in me. So I'm not paying that. Daddy one time, get this, Daddy one time bought a truck. And Daddy bought a lot of trucks. But Daddy bought a truck, brought it home, and then that's when he read the paperwork. He took the truck back and said, "Here," gave the guys the keys. He goes, "You can tear up that check. I don't want it." The guy goes, "Why not?" He goes, "I ain't paying that damn doc fee." And the guy was like, blah, blah, blah. Daddy goes, "Give me my keys back to my truck. I'll take my truck back. You can keep this truck. I'm not paying you whatever it was. I'm not paying that." He goes, "Mr. Daniels, you signed?" He goes, "I don't give a damn what I signed. I know it's been less than 5 hours. Give me my keys back, and I'm out of here." Daddy took his keys and left, got his truck back, and took off. I think the funniest part is they'd already cleaned Daddy's truck. Oh, man. That's hilarious. Anyway, so I told him, I said, "Yeah, that ain't going to fly." I said, "So everything's negotiable." So I said, "So I'm prepared to make you an offer." He said, "Well, the price is pretty firm." I said, "Well, I guess the discussion's over with." I said, "Let's go." So me and Laura got up, and he said, "Well, are you going to let me know?" I said, "I just let you know. You said it is non-negotiable. So if it ain't negotiable, I ain't buying nothing. I ain't buying nothing that's not negotiable." So, he could have said, "Why don't you just, we'll do this if you bring me like 2 dozen of eggs every week for the next whatever, or something. Or why don't you, I'll lower the price of the car if you do some of your fancy photography work for some of our marketing people." It was not negotiable. So I said, "Okay, I'm gone." So if y'all know anybody that's got a really good deal on a Toyota RAV4, in particular, if it's that maroon or that red looking color, I don't know what color it is. I just say red. I'm a man. Red, blue, green, white, pink, brown, tan, whatever. I'm not into the pastels and the other, colors. People say it's lavender or some other color. I don't know. So mauve. Is mauve a color? I don't know. So we left. I got his text message, and yeah, and Laura and I are at this age. We're not impulse buyers. I don't need to buy the damn car. Her car's fine. It's just got some years on it, and yeah, I'll let it go. So anyway, enough about Toyota. Yeah, I reckon I just got several stories, and I'm rambling on. I'm already at 23 minutes, 23 and a half minutes. I had I didn't have to, but I needed to. And I know I've talked to y'all about this before about JD wears a CPAP. All right. It's not like I'm having sex with my sister. It's like I'm ashamed to tell somebody. I got sleep apnea, and I'm not a big fat heavy person, but I got sleep apnea. What can I say? When I lay down and go to sleep, I thought this was a string to my hoodie. I'm like, boy, it sure does feel funny. But I got sleep apnea, and and it is what it is. Okay. So y'all have heard me talk about the CPAP machine and what you got to wear and all that stuff. And then I had one made by Philips, and it was called the Dream Maker. I'm not sure if it made any dreams, which reminds me, I got to tell you about a dream I had. And I may not do it today, but I've made a note of it. And I got to share this dream. It was another one. And I didn't eat something funky right before, although I did have a piece of chocolate, just a little bitty, like a little 2-inch by 2-inch thing of hard chocolate, good hard dark chocolate, which is supposed to be healthy. And I it's like, I like eating chocolate when it's like that, because you can snap it and it's like almost like a tater chip. It goes, you break it and it's good. I like good, hard, true, organic. I mean, good, hard, good, chocolate. I like good chocolate. So, and I don't like to eat a lot of it, because obviously it's not healthy to eat a lot. Had no idea where I was going. Anyway, so the CPAP. So my machine was like 5 or 6 years old, already been a recall, already been replaced once because of some recall. And it was showing some wear, and the little latch thing on the top where the water reservoir is had worn out, and I was trying to really push it hard to get it to hold. And anyway, so I was contacted. Everybody wants to say something. And they said, hey, your insurance program or your insurance plan, your coverage will buy you a new CPAP machine after it's 5 years old. Well, mine was actually 6 or 7 years old, but I needed to replace it, so I did. I said, okay. And it really pissed me off, because then you start the ball rolling. Then you have to order it first. You can't talk. I called my insurance company first, talk to them, and they're like, well, have you bought it? I go, no, I ain't bought it. I want to know what the copay is going to be, and I want to know all the terms and the conditions before I jump into this. Well, they go, you need to order it first. I go, well, I don't want to order it without knowing what the terms and conditions are. And they force my hand. So then I have to go back to this company and go, okay, I'll take it. All right. I said, well, don't charge me for it. Don't bill me for it. Don't send it to me. But evidently I have to order it. You have to process the order, send it to my insurance company, and then I can find out what the hell I'm going to pay, which I think is a racket. There's something wrong with that. There's something fundamentally wrong with that. I'm wearing new glasses, and evidently I'm going to stop wearing these glasses, because it's pushing, my headset's pushing on my ears. And already I've been here, 27 minutes, and it's starting to hurt the side of my head. But anyway, so, and this takes weeks and weeks and weeks. And then I get the thing back, well, yeah, Mr. Daniels, you've been approved. I'll go, well, no shit. Y'all the one that told me. And they're like, well, here's what it's going to be. Your copay is $57. And then it's at the end of the year, so your new deductible hadn't been met. And then starting in January, it's going to be $37 a month. I'm like, well, wait a minute. Let me get this right. So I paid my copay, but now you're telling me I got to pay a rent fee? They're like, yeah. I'm like, they go, you did it last year. And I go, but it wasn't this much. They go, well, that's different this year or this time. And I'm like, oh, hold on now, Texas. They said, well, it's only until you meet your copay or whatever, deductible. I said, well, how much is my insurance company paying? Well, we don't know. I don't believe that. I'm like, what do you mean you don't know? So I got to wait till I get my EOB to figure that out. It's a racket. It's a freaking racket. So I get the new CPAP machine. I had, then they finally say, it's here. You got to come pick it up. And it's right here local. I go pick it up, and you got to sit down and listen to some dude tell you how to use it. You got to sign all these papers saying that you were told how to use it. And then you have to sign an acknowledgement knowing that you're in probation. You believe that shit, y'all? You're in probation with your insurance company. Because the insurance company's like, well, we know we're being taken, but we're going to make sure that we're going to be taken. And if you don't do your part, we're going to take from you. So for 90 days, I'm in timeout with my CPAP machine. So, well, I wish Louis Gazard would have talked about this. So I'm in timeout with my new CPAP machine, and the damn thing connects to Wi-Fi. You got no privacy, and they monitor you, so they're able to tell when you go to bed and when your ass wakes up. If you get up in the middle of the night to go pee, You'll turn it off, obviously, so they can tell when you wake up for whatever reason. And they know that. And then they can tell the quality of your sleep. And they'll tell you how many what they call events, meaning how many times did you almost come next to stop breathing at night and all that kind of stuff. Blockages and they call it something, but anyway, the words escaped me. It's an acronym. I forget what it is. ADI or HDI or DDI, some shit. I don't know. And I don't care. And then you got an app, because my other one had an app. Then you got a new app. And it checks all this stuff, but you're on probation so they can monitor you. Then, part of your and being in timeout because you got the new CPAP machine that the insurance is paying for that you're actually paying to. You got to make an appointment, and you got to go see your sleep apnea doctor, the pulmonary gal. I got to go see. I ain't gonna say her name. I got to go see her. She's 4'5", and her English is not so good. So I got to go see her, and then I got to entertain her. And I've already talked about this one time, about when you make an appointment, they say, now you make sure you bring your CPAP machine. So when I made this appointment, I said, I'm calling to make an appointment. My regular scheduled appointment is in May of next year, but I got a new machine, and I know part of the deal is I got to fulfill all these obligations because I know y'all watching me and monitor me, and the insurance company is going to watch me and monitor me. I hate this, y'all. I do. I hate it. But I got to make an appointment with you within, I think, 60 days of receiving it, so I don't violate the agreement, and it satisfies the insurance company. And they go, you're right. I said, I know I'm right. So I need to make an appointment. So I had my appointment yesterday. So, and the gal on the phone said to Mr. Daniels, this is a new machine now. You make sure you bring your machine. Now, last time I told y'all this on a previous podcast in a YouTube video, last time I told you I wasn't bringing it no damn more. And last time, sure and shit, I didn't bring it. Didn't even take it out of the house. Got there, did the whole appointment. They didn't ask to see nothing. This time was different. I said, well, it's a new machine. It's brand new. It's different. And they probably want to check it out and maybe, insult my intelligence and show me stuff. Y'all, I'm in the bedroom yesterday morning having to pack this thing up. I got to take the water reservoir out, got to dump it out and all that shit. And I had it wired neatly and tucked tightly. I got to move my damn nightstand, which means I got to take my lamp off, and I got to move this, that, and the other. I got to pull the damn... I'm on my hands and knees back... I was swearing. I'm like, and you know what I'm saying? I'm like, these sumbitches better look at it. Oh, hell, they better look at it. I went through, and it hit my knee on the part of the trim around the damn nightstand, knocked the shit out of my knee. I got a bruise on it. I said, oh, shit. Laura heard me. She goes, what's wrong? And I was bitching, buddy. I was bitching and moaning and swearing. I was not a Christian for that moment. So I pack it all up. Yep, pack it all up. And I go to my damn appointment. And I walk in there and I sit down and I pay $36. I'm like, so I got to pay $36 to come see y'all? And then she goes, yeah. I go, well, let me ask you something. I said, I'm not being confrontational, but why is it when I go see my doctor, the copay is only $25? And then sometimes I'll go see like my optometrist and it's $30. Why y'all $36? She goes, I don't know. That's just what your TRICARE insurance company says it is. I said, okay, I'll take it up with them. I don't know. Anyway, so I sit in the waiting room, fill out some paperwork, and paid my damn $36 begrudgingly. And then they call my name. I go back there, and I'm nice, and I'm cordial, I'm polite. Her name was Ruth. Hey, Ruth, how you doing? She checks my blood pressure. She checks it twice, as they always do. And I said, why are we checking it twice? She goes, well, I'm not sure if that first reading was right. I said, well, if it was like 110 over 68, I said, it's right. She goes, that's amazing. I said, well, okay. Take vitamins every day, eat right, and drink olive oil every day. Drink olive oil every day. So she says, oh. I said, okay. Anyway, so the doc comes in. Hey, Mr. Daniels, how are you? I said, I'm doing good there, doc. How you doing? Yeah, good. It's been a while. Yep. saw you, whatever. I said, yeah. She goes, well, I know your last appointment, we had you scheduled for 6 months, but you said you didn't want to come. I go, no, I don't think I need to come here every 6 months. I said, nothing changes. It's kind of like with my ophthalmologist. We need to see you every 6 months. No, you don't. No, you don't. It's a racket. No, you don't. So, I mean, we keep doing the same stuff. Nothing changes. But you just keep billing my insurance company and me for a copay every 6 months. Let's do it annually. So that's what I told her last year. So anyway, she says, but I understand you got a new machine. I said, yeah, I do, man. She goes, how do you like it? I said, I hate it. She goes, you what? I said, yeah. I said, the water reservoir is a piece of crap, and I'd love to see the engineer. I guarantee the engineer who designed the functionality and the reservoir thing, he or she don't wear no damn CPAP. She goes, I know, we hear that a lot about this new unit. I said, well, you asked me. I'm just telling you, it's a piece of crap. I said, because I'm spilling water all over my nightstand, and it's a piece of crap. So we get through that. She looks at my numbers. She goes, oh, your numbers look great, blah, 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 blah. She listens to me breathe. She puts the thing on me. She's listening to me. Now, this is the same woman who listened to me breathe, and she goes, oh, I hear something. I go, you hear something? I said, well, I hope you hear something. You got the stuff and you're listening. You're supposed to hear something. She goes, no, something sounds unusual. She actually convinced me and herself there was something wrong. So I had to make an appointment with my primary care doctor, and I go see him because she told me I needed to go see. And get this now, the referral told me to go back to see my primary care manager, my PCA or whatever you call it, my primary care manager, PCM. Go back and see him because I hear something doesn't sound right. So I had to make an appointment with my primary care doctor. This was a couple of years ago, but it's the same woman. And my doc listens to me, and he's like, shit, Jerry, you sound fine. I wish mine sounded like this. But he hooks me up to a machine, does all these tests, bills my insurance company, and says, I don't know what hell she's talking about. This looks great. I wish my, whatever, that gram, what do you call it? Cardiogram or whatever. He goes, I wish mine looked like this. I said, Carl, I don't know. But, I don't have the authority, the opportunity, the leverage to pick up the phone, call my insurance company, and go, y'all just got scammed. And it cost me another $25. It's a freaking racket. So, anyway. So, here's the moral of the story. The doc's looking at me yesterday. She does all this stuff. She goes, well, I think you're just doing so good. I know what she's doing. She's reading the notes on the screen. She goes, I think you're doing good. We'll just do it on an annual basis. I said, good idea. I said, because I'm not coming back every 6 months, Doc. We'll keep going what I said before. We're going to do it annually because it's my health. She goes, I understand. I said, well, good. I said, so my May appointment next year has been canceled. She goes, yeah, we'll just see you next November of 2026. I said, great, Doc. I hope you have a great year. So she stood up, and I didn't stand up, and she just kind of looks at me because I'm still sitting down in that chair, and I reach down to the side of my chair, my hand, I pull out my brand new unit in the case. I said, well, here it is. She says, well, we just ask everybody to bring it in case there's something wrong. I said, that ain't what I was told. I was told to bring it. And she just stared at me, and I said, so you need to look at it. And I think you need to touch it because you have no idea of what it took for me to unplug it and get it here. I'm on my hands and knees in my bedroom this morning, Doc, fulfilling my obligation. And I did what you told me to do. Not you, but your office. They told me to bring it. I said, Doc, I had to move furniture, banged the shit out of my leg to bring it here, and you're going to tell me you ain't going to look at it? And y'all, and I'm not ugly. I'm just forthright. And I'm smiling when I'm talking to this. I'm going, Doc, seriously? I said, I'm not bringing it again. And I said that last time, but this was a new machine, so I thought something was different. I'm not bringing it again. Ever. Okay. I said, all right. I said, why don't you just be straight up with people? Bring your machine. If you think there's something wrong with it, it's malfunctioning, or you want us to look at something. Just be honest. Anyway. 39 minutes. I'm going to try to cover this last one quick. It's that time of the year. Where's it at? Where is it at? Where is it at? Oh, right here. Here it is. There it is. My damn property tax statement. 2025 property tax statement. My property taxes has gone up again. This is... I look at how much is for the school system and how much is for the county. I love this. This is cool. The county M&O sales tax rollback of 2.4253 mils has saved you $267. That's not even tangible. I didn't realize. I haven't realized that. Psh, bullshit. Excuse my French. It's bullshit. Property tax. I'm 63 years old. I own my home, and I have to pay somebody $2,000 a year. And a big chunk of that goes to a school system, and I ain't got no children in it. At what point do we as Americans reach a point in our life, you've been pulling out of us enough? And you know the people that vote these Democrats in and vote all these liberals who tax, they ain't got no skin in the game. Nope. They ain't got no skin in the game. I'm just sitting here looking at it. It just pisses me the hell off. Well, to compound matters, where's that at? I got my annual renewal for my insurance, both homeowners and auto. And I talked about this last year at some point, probably a year ago. Our auto insurance went up again. Cars are a year older, no accidents, no tickets, no issues, no violations, nothing. But yet my damn automobile insurance went up again, even after in Georgia we did the whole tort reform. I called my agent again, and I did. I called him last year, and I give him the what for. And I called him this year. I go, hey, man, what the hell? He goes, I know, Mr. Daniels. I go, no, you don't know. No, you don't know. You sell insurance. You get it cheap. You don't know. You think you know, but you don't know. You're not my age. I'm like, seriously, my damn insurance went up? And when Laura and I was looking at that car yesterday, I said, you know what's going to be the bite in the ass? I said, our auto insurance is going to be even more because we're buying a newer car. Laura's car is 15 years old. Puts less than 9,000 miles a year on it. She is the epitome of the little old lady that don't drive down dirt roads. Don't smoke, all that stuff. And I take care of it. So my damn auto insurance is going up again. And then last week, I got a letter from a company that was representing Liberty Mutual, but it was endorsed and it had my credit union, Navy Federal Credit Union, all over it. I'm sorry, y'all. I know I'm more at 42 minutes. But it basically is like, hey, you'll get a special discount because you are a member of the Navy Federal Credit Union. So I called them. I said, hey, I'll give you a shot at the insurance thing here because I shop around every year. I said, I'll give you a shot. And I said, but let me just make sure I understand. So you're with, I'm looking, nothing happened. If you're listening to a podcast, nothing happened to it. I threw it away. I threw it away because it didn't go well. That's what it is. Anyway, I forget the name of the company. I said, but you guys are really with Liberty Mutual. They go, yeah. I said, okay. I said, but credit union, blah, blah, blah. I had to give the guy on the phone this, it's called this customer private ID number. I gave him that number. He's able to pull up the letter and all that shit. I said, yeah. I said, hey, man. I said, I talked to y'all last year, Liberty Mutual. Y'all wouldn't even talk to me. So what makes a difference this year? Because what, the Navy Federal Credit Union's peddling stuff to y'all? I'm like, yeah, I guess. So we go through the whole dance and rigmarole. Y'all know what it's like. Got to do all this stuff. Got to answer all these questions. And so we do all that. He comes under, he's about $150 less a year than what my 2026 premium is going to be for the autos. I said, well, I like that. But that's if you bundle the house. So then we got to bundle the house and my detached garage. So we bundled all that in there, and he comes up $700 more a year in homeowners insurance. I said, Hoss, you ain't even close. You're not even close. I said, you need to work that number down. He goes, well, let me call you back. And he calls me back, and he can't work it down. I said, so you're telling me you can be $150 less a year on auto, which is a much more greater liability. I said, I ain't never had a home claim in my life. I said, and the last time I had an accident, I didn't even file a claim. I pulled it all out of pocket. I said, and I got the highest deductible possible on my homeowner's insurance. And I said, and you're damn near $700 more a year? He's like, yeah. I said, then you don't want my business. So I sucked it up and said, all right, thanks anyway. I tore the damn paperwork and threw it in the damn trash. Called my insurance company back. I said, all right. Begrudgingly, I said, but it ain't over. I'm still shopping. I'm still shopping. But, you know, and you can talk to, and you know, I'm tired. I'm tired of talking to my state representatives, whether it be a state senator or state, rep. I'm tired of talking to them. You know, sending letters and calling the insurance commissioner doesn't do shit. Georgia needs to get their head out of their ass and start throwing these damn ambulance chasing lawyers the hell out of the state. Tort reform has fixed nothing, as far as I'm concerned. This is bull crap. It's freaking bull crap. All right, I'm almost at 50 minutes. That's all I got, y'all. I just rambled. I said I was not, and it's right here on my list, and you can't see my list. There's my list. You can see it. Got little blocks and check marks. One of them ain't got a check mark. New York City. I'll talk about that next week because maybe I'll have more information. But I'll talk about the elections in New York City. All I can say right now is for the people of New York City, you're going to get what you asked for. That's all I'm going to say. All right, folks, that's it. I'm going to wrap it up and get out of here quickly. Y'all have a safe week. God bless. Don't forget Veterans Day is on November the 11th. It is Veterans Day. It is not Armed Forces Day. It is not Memorial Day. It's Veterans Day. Those who proudly served with honor, courage, commitment were patriots. Not some dude that served 48 hours and got a dishonorable discharge. That ain't no veteran. All right. Mike Posey, I'm still praying for you, brother. You get well. Joe Stitka, drive safely. Mike Snyder, get that house built. You need Mike Snyder. I know you listen to this. You should have hired me. I would have done it for free. But anyway, you need a good videographer to do your aerial stuff. That whoever did you didn't do you right. So that's pretty arrogant, ain't it? I don't say I'm arrogant. I'm saying I'm confident. I'm very confident. Mike Coker, I was talking about you yesterday because I met a woman at a coffee luncheon, a networking thing yesterday morning. Her last name was Coker. And I said, do you know Mike Coker? And she didn't. Unlucky her. Bicycle.